Today, I'm super excited to be with an amazing friend and a gentleman who's doing extremely well in his life, both professionally and personally. Before I get into to introduce my dear friend Raj, the reason why we're doing this is basically we have a theme that we are actually driving the entire message across. That is reset being human. As I always say, we as human beings, we need to start being human because being itself is a part of doing. So that is something that we are striving at. It's to help people to be more conscious rather than being very reactive about situation. As you all know, we have the app called the Reset app. As you can see at the back, we have more than 25,000 people who are actually in this and using, and we are able to help people to come out of whatever situation which is depressing them by using positive technology. So today I'm super excited because this gentleman here I've known him around 10 years, maybe slightly more, through a talk that I did, and I like the energy that was brought on by this gentleman together with his amazing team in NSIE. I've been there, in whatever I could do, I've been doing. My involvement is very minimum compared to what these guys are actually doing in the area of creating entrepreneurship for the society and the community in Negeri Sembilan. So let me introduce my dear friend Rajkumar Subramaniam. He's a group agency manager with Public Mutual Berhad. He has been in the industry since 2006. His agency is called Champions Agency, True Champions actually, because it's the fastest growing agency in the country and the largest agency in Negeri Sembilan. So congratulations to Raj and team. That makes him one of the most sought after unit trust consultant around. I can vouch for it because he delivers the promise that is experience that is promise that is giving out. Raj also holds a few other important portfolios. He's currently the president of the Negeri Sembilan Indian Entrepreneurs and Professionals, an NGO based in Negeri Sembilan for the past 10 years. Remember I said this is how I got to know him. Raj was the founder and has been instrumental in the growth of NSIE. Raj is also an active BNI member for the past 13 years and have been elected president for 3 terms and vice president for 3 terms as well. Currently, he is the secretary treasurer for his chapter. Raj also had been in the deputy PIBG chairman for a primary school for 3 years. His latest appointment is as the Ahli Lembaga Pelawat for Salam Senawang Specialist Hospital. This appointment will be for a period of 2 years. He is father of 2 handsome boys, amazing kids, and a leader of his agency with 130 consultants and growing. Let me help me to welcome Raj. Raj, thank you for coming and taking your time to have this conversation with me and to get to know people. So welcome to this conversation, Raj.
Hi Shiva, thank you for inviting and thank you for having me on board. I have been a strong believer and of a law of attraction, and I wouldn't deny that I got to know about LOA from you 10 years back through one of the sessions that I attended, and it has been instrumental for my growth as well. So I practice law of attraction on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you so much, Raj. It's a pleasure to see positive people and who's actually having so much of passion in what they're doing. Today is going to be an exciting session because I know you and we're going to talk about resilience and all that. Before we go into how you have actually, took a pivotal role in your life, due to an incident that happened. Before we go into all that, I would like to, to share with the people who would be watching this about yourself, your childhood, your family, all that, it's exciting because the happiest time is we don't have a full name with us, like for Sivapragasam Arumugam. I'm excited with Siva, a lot of memories comes to me. So please share with me, your childhood and how were you brought up in your own little world?
I was actually raised up in a small town called Slim River, Perak. So it's a it's a Kobai town even until today. So there are no supermarkets when I grew up, nothing, no theaters and so on. So it was a very small town, laid back town. My father was a teacher and mom housewife. So a teacher's son always has to live up to the expectations of the father. Those times, that's how it is. So I was actually good in my studies, more or less was doing well. active in school as well. I held many positions in school, from the prefect board, being in the prefect board, as well as being the chairman of the English Language Society, the deputy chairman of the Scouts movement, and so on. I was also an active debater. I was in the school team for both English and BM. Only the non-Indian, non-Malay to be in the Malay team, BM team, and we were the district champs and went up to the state level for both English and BM. So father was a art teacher, so at least I had a little bit of interest in art due to that. So participated in many very workshops, competitions when it comes to art. Had a good childhood, good friends. Living in a small town, you can't run away much. So it's more into having a network of good friends, sleepovers, and going for campings, being in scouts. Of course, that's what we do, and getting active in school activities, helping out teachers. And that's how that's perfectly how I remember my childhood to be.
Wow, you've been an extremely good kid, right? So dad was a teacher, right? Mom housewife. So who was stricter, mom or dad?
Obviously was dead, but
Dad.
to one point, even mom was also very strict. We had very strict routine to be followed at home. So everyone, each and every one of us, we have three siblings, me being the eldest, my brother and sister. So everyone had a role to play. One person had to sweep the lawn, one person has to do this, do that. By 7 everyone must be on the table. If not, what happens those days, right?
Wow.
So basically that was it, and I'm very thankful for that, because that created something. One of my core values that I hold on until today is discipline. Is because of that.
Awesome, Raj. This is amazing because dad being a teacher and mom being a housewife, and there's a lot of things that was happening, and how it formed your discipline, which is one of the biggest trait in living a wonderful life. I know it's tough to be disciplined because I'm very bad at discipline. I live my life by telling that, I just need to have just that moment of discipline long enough for it to turn into a habit. Because once it's habitual, then it's okay, right? So,
Yeah.
who in your life, because I've been hearing dad's name coming out, who in your life has actually been very influencer in your life, who have actually made you the person you are? It could be a coach, teacher, anyone that has really made an impact in your life.
Obviously, the first hero is my dad. He was an estate boy, and he had a very tough childhood, where up to a point that he was the only educated person in his family. Educated meaning we went up to do his degree and so on. At one point, he had to cycle 5 kilometers daily out of his estate to attend school and so on. So it was not easy for him, but he managed to managed to break through to become a teacher. And also he did his degree after we were born. So another part of my childhood was in Penang, because my primary school, that's when my father did his degree in USM Penang. So we were based in USM, and I had to study in Penang for 3 years with my brother and my mom together. So of course, father was very influential in setting the right path for me. Both my parents, but of course, father was the main person. And apart from that, of course, various along the way, when we grow up, there were many other individuals that have been very who played an important part. Definitely my wife is one of them, because at one point where I needed that support, she is the one who gave me the support. Without her, I wouldn't be who I am today. So and few other gentlemen who gave me a little bit of hope here and there. Definitely one of the person is Jivan Sahadevan, Coach Jivan. Meeting him was a blessing, because along the way we became good friends. And he has been instrumental for my growth as well as my team's growth. He plays an important role. And lately this year, I met beginning of the year, 1st of January, where last few years I've been going through some health challenges. So that was going into like a misery state, you know. So I met this gentleman called Nicholas Brandon, who actually managed to change my perception about my health and turn around things. So I feel much more better after meeting him. He's an osteopath based in KL. So I do meet him every 2 weeks once, and these are a few of the individuals who have played an important part in my life.
Oh, that's amazing. These are the people who have actually came and nudged you towards a shift in your life, which you are very thankful to them, which is very powerful because, they are like gurus, they come, they might not stay with you long, but there's a nudge here and there that if we are intuitive enough, we'll be able to understand who they are.
Yes.
Congratulations for being silent here so that you can not noisy. Some people are very noisy; they miss out all this stuff. So that goes because I know you that how intuitive and how conscious you are when you're speaking to people and all that. So that's amazing. Now, Raj, you've been having a wonderful career. I know how you're growing. How you carry out yourself. Your business has been growing steadily. You have the biggest agency in Surumban and all that stuff. See, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you is basically, a lot of people when you talk to, they're very excited about being successful and all that stuff. But the problem is they don't do what the successful people have done. Okay, example, if you go and talk to someone who's very successful and ask them, what are you doing currently, right? They might say, I just wake up and do some good breakfast and then I have a nice nap. And then you realize that, what are these guys doing? What I'm more interested about, and I think what a lot of people want to know is basically what has created, what is that key habits that has created this current awesome consequences. Because one of the things that we all need to pay attention, I realize, is that more and more we have to pay attention to the consequences that's happening to us. Because these consequences are the results of some doing. And most of the doing that took place is basically was habitual, right? That end us in this situation. So I would like to ask you about some situation that you were in many years ago, where basically it was a pivotal point in your life, right? That you went through an accident, which was a tough thing because I think you were back in your home state, and when this thing happened, and you have to, and now the person that I'm seeing now is totally transformed. Okay, you carry yourself well. Okay, I see you walking upstairs and all that stuff. This for me is a symbol of resilience, and in our life we need resilience, both in mental and also physical, because these two cannot go on their own. So I would like you to share with me, with an intention that we can, some people can learn out of this experience, what actually happened and how you came out of this.
Let's go back to my childhood. Once I was about to finish my SPM, so my father asked me, "What would you like to become?" And those days, there were only three famous ambitions that people have: either become a doctor, lawyer, or an engineer. So I wanted to go into the engineering path, and so I pursued my diploma in advanced until my advanced diploma in computer engineering in KL, and then I went on to do my degree in telecommunication engineering. So everything was going on well. Okay, young guy who is in his, I was 21 then, back in 1998, and I was having big dreams and aspiring to become a qualified engineer within the next 1 or 2 years. Until on one fine day on 13th of November 1998, I met with an accident. It was a motorbike accident where that was my turning point in my life. It was not an easy point because that accident took 5 years out of my life to recover. Initial recovery took 5 years. In fact, on the day of my accident, I nearly lost my life. My left leg was crushed to 5 pieces. I had lots of blood loss. When I regained consciousness in hospital, uh, uh, I saw the nurses were mopping the floor all full of with my blood. and the doctor were telling that if this doesn't stop, we might lose him. That was the conversation that they had with my parents. But eventually I had to stay the first 5 months in hospital. That's after first 5 months, that's when I got discharged. But then doctors told me that it's going to be a very bad, it's a bad injury, and if they were to save my leg, they will try their best to save my leg, but I have to undergo, of course, the trauma, the pain, and the outcome is still they wouldn't know the outcome, but they said they will give it the best shot. So of course, at that age, we wanted to do our best to save the leg other than go into amputation. So it took a solid 5 years, and within that 5 years, the days I underwent 26 operations to save my leg, 26, and I stayed overnight about more than a year. If I within the 5 years, the days I stayed overnight was 5 years, about more than a year in hospital. So it was tough. It was tough. Each surgery would require a few weeks up to months of recovery, and you are confined to your bed. And how I spent my time during those days were reading. Nothing else I could do. Reading, reading, reading. So on the days I'm not being operated, I'm not going for treatments, I'll be back home in Tanjung Malim. That time my parents shifted to Tanjung Malim. And after 5 years, doctor said, of course, we have done our best. Now you can move around. I have, of course, with a disability, doctor said, you have to live with your disability for life. I can't bend my left leg. I have a shortening and so on. I'm fine with it as long as I can move around. But then the agony started is that when I started to notice that all my friends who studied with me, they graduated, and they managed to secure a job as an engineer, many of them in telecommunication companies, and started, their career, where I was at home going, through operations, recovery, infections, and so on. No money, no income, no money. So in between, I tried going for some papers, using wheelchair. I did cover a few papers, but that's all I could do because engineering requires a lot of project work and so on. So that part I couldn't fulfill. And to see my friends, of course, I was happy, but at the same time, there was a feeling that of me being left behind. My friends were already there, working, earning, and then they started buying car, and one or two even started booking houses, one or two left for masters. So, and then your whole future is of a question mark. Okay, what's going to happen to my life? I'm here. I'm jobless. I don't have any money. I'm fully dependent on my parents. And I was at that state, and going out in the public. Of course, was using two crutches to move around. I was on external fixators. I went through some bone lengthening procedure called Elizarov Autofix, where you have to be with the external fixator for a period of 1 year, 1.5 years, and so on. So you will be on sarong going out, and when people, Malaysians being Malaysians, they're very caring. So the moment they see you, they will not be quiet. Everyone will stare at you. Everyone will start asking questions. Okay, what happened to you? So, and then we say it's, I had an accident, and then how, they will not keep. So they will say how, and then I said, bike accident, and then the next question will be very simple. That means you are racing, it was it's a standard dialogue by most of the people out there. The moment we tell motorbike, the next question will come out. So you were racing, So in fact, my accident happened in just in my neighbor, in a taman, So it's not in the main road or anything. Accidents can happen anywhere. So and this also had an impact on me. So whenever I start going out, people were staring, looking at you, and asking all these questions. So I began to cocoon myself in my room, and thinking what, it was in a bad. I was actually going through a dilemma in life, until one point. At one point, I decided something. It's more like a realization. I realized that in life there you don't have a thing where like this. You don't have a button where you can rewind anything that has happened. This has happened. you can't undo things, right? You have to accept the fact and move on with your life. So I came to that point that, okay, this has happened. I can't rewind anything. I can't even rewind 5 minutes or 10 minutes what happened in my life. So what I have is this very moment. Okay, of course, I have limitations now, but I have myself. Okay, mentally, I'm healthy. So I need to move on with my life and do something. I am back. I'm of course, I have 5 years, 6 years of life to catch up. In fact, my whole of 20s, I didn't have a life. My whole of 20s, people say 20s is the golden period of someone's life, where you go into, you work, you start spending your money, you start dating, you start going out with friends. But I didn't experience that. So I decided, okay, I need to move out of my comfort zone. Okay, my parents were providing me with all that I need. But if I'm here, then I cannot build a life on my own. So that's when my fiance, who's now my wife, Banu, so she actually started a tuition in Seremban tuition business, and she said, Raj, you better come over. You need to come and help me. And let's do this. Let's I need help. So I took the bold move of going to Seremban. In fact, when I went to Seremban, I had no money. I had to even bring my own blanket, my own even mattress. I rented a house for the first 1 year in Seremban. I had to wash my own clothes. But I worked hard on the business. I started teaching maths in the center, and after 1-2 years, then I started branching out to Senawang. We opened a branch in Senawang. I took care of Senawang Center, and eventually we had another branch in Seremban 3. So it was a few years of hard work, okay, that we had between both my wife and I. We got married in between. Like what I said, she has been instrumental for my success as well. And what I'm doing currently came along the way. So one of my teachers asked me if I wanted to invest in a fund. I was more keen on the business because I'm a person more like an outgoing person. So and confined to doing tuition was a very stressful business. It was good, but very stressful because we are dealing with teachers, parents, students, performances, and so on. And I wanted to do something out of the norm. So, and also to start creating more awareness among for myself to start saving money. Of course, first generation of doing business, we are pumping whatever that we earn, we are putting back in the business. And that's when I took up the license to become a unit trust consultant. So, but I did for the first few years, it was more like a part-time thing. But I began to grow the business. It gave me the freedom of time, the flexibility of time, and the flexibility of earning how much I want. And that's when, back in 2010, about 11 years back, I made the decision to become a full-time. So I had to let go my tuition business because they say, I don't know how far it's true, that men, we are not good at multitasking. So I couldn't do two different things at the same time because it was two different things. I was putting my leg here and there. So I'm a person who, if I do something, I'll focus and make sure I get things done. So I had to let go my tuition, so which I passed off to my wife to handle, and I became a full time in public mutual.
Wow.
So that's the more or less the journey of my life.
When you're sharing all that, I'm able to visualize. I'm a visual person. I saw everything. So it does affect. So I need to do a bit resetting because it is not something easy, right? Now, Raj, now one of the things that you're saying that you lost 5 years during that time, right? You saw your friends were basically getting their life going on. So more than the physical pain that you were going through, do you agree that you were going through more mental stress?
Yes. It was not only physical; it was also mental because of the question mark of what's going to happen in my life, and am I going to be left behind? What I need to do next? How I can catch up? For the years I've lost. So these were the things. These were challenges, the mental challenges that I was facing through.
Wow. And you said you were reading during that time. Did the books help?
Yes, of course. One of the at that time, Les Brown was my favorite motivator. So I listened to a lot of his audio, talks. Those times you have cassettes, right?
Yep,
So I
yep.
had one or two cassettes of Les Brown's talk. So I listened to that and also read some books here and there. That kept me motivated, and like until a point that I realized that like what I went through was more of a physical thing, physical and mental challenge. I'm sure why I would like to share this is that if I ask each and every one of you out there, everyone would have gone through a major challenge, in life. Some people might be financially, some people might be, family issues, some people might be health issues and something. And sometimes we get trapped into that emotion and ask, there's a simple question that we always ask: why this is happening to me?
Yep.
I believe that everything happens for a reason. Everything has a lesson to be learned.
Yep.
And if we come out of it, definitely will come out stronger. Other than living in that zone, we have to find a way to come out of it, to overcome the challenges that we face, and make sure and then we will be a better human being.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. You know how much of tenacity and resilience it have taken you. You know, you summarize everything in a very short period, but in minutes you spoke about it, but it took 5 years and longer to come out of this, right? You stated two important words which caught me. Number one, when you were talking about that, you said about discipline. And then when you came to Saramban, when you started the business, you have to give up tuition because you're bad at multitasking, but you're super in focusing. For me, focus stands for following one course until successful, right? Now, I'm a believer of that. I suck at multitasking, right? So we're in the same club. Now, can you elaborate more on these two qualities of life, Raj, on how it has shaped your success currently in see, I see you as one person who are very good in networking, right? And also how you have used these abilities to basically have a life where it's progressing well, although you've gone through such a difficult period of 5 years in your life. These two, let's talk about these two qualities you just spoke about: discipline and focus.
um, Again, I am a person who holds closely to these two core values, which is discipline and being focused. I am very disciplined when it comes to work. I schedule everything. I don't do last minute work. I schedule everything, and I also schedule means to the detail. For example, if someone will ask me how many new clients I had in February this year, I'll be able to tell you in 1 or 2 minutes because I write it down. I can tell the name of the person. And if you ask me the same question, Raj, how many new clients you had in March of 2017, which was 4 years back, I'll be able to let you know. So I write everything down, up to my appointments, up to the people I meet, the transactions I've done. So that's how I've been brought up, and that's one thing probably I can work. I would say it's my advantage that I work on. So I think with discipline, um, it's a very simple saying that I always think when it comes to discipline: do what you have to do when you have to do it, whether you like it or not. Okay, sometimes you may not like it, certain things, but in life you have to do it whether you like it or not. Keep doing it until you see results. And that goes the second thing, which is a bit being focused. Other than achieving lots of things at the same time, if you are focused on one particular thing and put in all your effort and energy towards that goal or the dream that you have, I'm sure you will see tremendous result. And I saw that in the things that I applied in work, on my team. So it was not easy because when I was recruited, I was alone here. I had not much of support, so everything I learned was from scratch. It's through test and measure method, trial But again, when we start improvising on the things on a day-to-day basis and start implementing new things, you study, you read, you engage with good people, and slowly but steadily, you will start seeing tremendous results.
Wow, that's amazing. See, these two attributes are so powerful, right? I think one of the biggest challenge with the people nowadays is basically the technology is supposed to be shaping our life, but it's also destroying our life because we are not being responsible about it, right? As you were saying, in the 5 years that you're going, you're also mentally, socially comparing your friends, without you knowing, and how much of destruction it can cause in our self-esteem and all that. Now people are doing it freely with social medias, right? There's a big thing called social comparison that takes place, which is something that people need to be very careful. So that's amazing, Raj. Another thing also, when you talk about focus just now, I think majority of the people out there is that they're not actually thinking it through. When they're hit with hardship, like what you're doing is that at that moment when you're talking, you said enough is enough. You don't have a button, where you can press and everything resets to itself, like this button here, reset button, right? You know, but you made a conscious decision that enough is enough. You're going to move on, and miraculously, the whole universe conspired to work with you. Now, that's the
True.
exciting part. The universe is always wanting to work with us and always working with us. The question is that are we conscious to spot that? And the moment you are conscious, you stop beating yourself, you realize that you have your fiance out there who's wanting your help. One led to another, one led to another, and how you have actually progressed big time in your life, and you're progressing. I know it's just the beginning, because looking at you, you're still having fun, right? With what you're doing, that shows. Now, during this process, Raj, while building your business, I'm sure you have touched your certain people's life. So is there anyone in your memory that you feel that you have really influenced and impacted deeply in the process that you were going? It could be anyone, right, who has actually, wow, being in right space, made me to be like that. You would have seen, because this is something subtle. We are not going to, without naming names. If you want to name names, I'm okay with that also, right? That you deep inside, that you have influence, people you have, what I mean, deep inside, you have made a difference. Who's that, and what was the experience from their verbalization?
Definitely, being the eldest in the family, I would need to set a benchmark for my both my brother and my sister. So I think I've done that. Both of them are doing well, you know, and that was my one thing, because as a brother, elder brother, I need to lead by example, So that was my initial thought of what I need to do. And second thing is that, of course, to my family members out there, my cousins and so on, uh, and also to all my friends, to just to make, to let them know that, whatever that's happening, whatever that's happened, okay, you can just overcome it. Okay, that is one, I think, one takeaway that they have after seeing me progress in my life. And that being said, I have been actively speaking. I'm one of the company speakers for my company. I have been getting the Speakers Award for the last 6 consecutive years, and Speakers Award is given to about 20 people out of 35,000 consultants. So I've been going to all the various branches to share my experience, to share my knowledge, on certain areas where I'm good at. One of which is the mindset
Mhm.
part. Right. So it's just that by shifting your mindset, by accepting things in a different dimension, you can actually uh, come up with different results. So along the way, I believe that, I get a lot of feedbacks from all my talks that I give, that, it was very inspiring, that, after seeing you, I feel more motivated. I feel, some even come and tell that you are my role model. So and I think that gives me a lot of joy, uh, of even at what I am today, with the limitation. I'm able to inspire people out there, especially youngsters, and for them, if they see that, if someone with a disability can achieve things in his life, so if I am a person, an able person, definitely what's my excuse? So if that message, I think I've given that message very clearly to them, and I
Wow.
feel happy for that.
Wow. When you really look at it at the hindsight, the accident was a boon for you.
Yeah.
When you really look at it, obviously you were sulking and cursing at that time,
Mhm.
but look at the manifestation it has brought to you now. The lives that we're touching, I don't know whether you would have done all this. You would have been a doctor, maybe, or an engineer. You wanted to be an engineer. Yeah, you would have been an
Yeah.
engineer. Don't know how boring you would have been. I don't know. Or you would have been certainly solving problems, right? But that's exciting, you see, on how you have actually came out of it strong and getting stronger and stronger. Now, what is that in your past, certain things that you did with so much of passion, Raj, that you're doing in the past, even before the accident or after the accident, that you were doing with so much of passion, even now, if you think about it, you are willing to do it for free. What would that be?
Um, One thing that I enjoy doing is empowering people.
Mm.
And I would like I do a lot of, like what I said, I do a lot of talks, I give a lot of counseling for youngsters out there. It may be from my team or even from outside my team. It's not only confined to my business, the society in general. And I'm sure along the way that many have benefited through, talking to me and through one of my talks and so on. So if I were to do that, I would love to continue doing that. In fact, until today, I've never charged anything for any of my talks, so it has been FOC. If it's a counseling session or anything, because I take it as part of my individual CSR, that I need to give back to the public, to the society, as a human being. So I think that is my what I need to give to the society.
Wow.
So that's the probably that's the easiest thing that I can give. And of course I have the content because I have that experience. I have gone through it, and I am in a position where I can advise people, on how they can turn around things.
How does it make you feel when you do this out of your passion?
Very happy, very happy. Um, I usually I feel, I feel very happy. That's all I can say. Because end
Yes.
of the day, of
Wow.
course, I'm selling unit trust, as that's my career.
Yeah.
So for that, of course, I get paid and so on. Fine. But when I sit and talk to the people, I had, for example, last week, I last Monday, in fact, last Monday at 8 o'clock night, I met this young boy, and he's an engineer by profession. And along the way, he said that, one thing good that has happened to me is that my mother-in-law introduced you to me. So, and I'm feeling very blessed because of that. I've seen a lot of changes happen in my life after I'm seeing you. And then this boy sees me, is like, every 2 to 3 weeks once, he makes sure he comes, have a coffee with me. This has been happening over the last 1.5 years. And yes, he says that he has seen a lot of changes in his personal life, the way he does things and so on. And that day, that makes my day, to hear statements like this.
Indeed. See, when you get more of this going on, you get some good juices in your body, right? The
Very true. Yeah.
And that, I'm sure, when you have this kind of high, uh, great hormones with oxytocin and all these things happening in your blood, when you go and do your daily activities, you're more supercharged, which is very powerful. I think that is something everybody should start giving, right? Because it's not about, our human nature is about giving, actually. Just
Yes.
imagine you make $1,000 and then through hard work, and you're able to give that 1,000 ringgit um, to another organization that you believe in. I think the giving gives you more satisfaction than the making. And this is a true nature of us that we need to pay attention to, right? What do you think?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Siva. Because I had this realization when my father passed away 6 years ago, and it was very sudden. Within a period of 2 weeks, he was a healthy guy. Within a period of 2 weeks, he passed away. And on the day he passed away, I was at the mortuary and to make arrangements, and my sister came and passed his wallet to me, in case you need anything, his details or anything. And I opened the wallet. I saw his IC. I saw his bank cards. I saw some cash there. At that point, I had this realization that whatever that you do in this world, wallet is something where you carry more or less on every day wherever you go out, right? Okay, your IC is your you carry it all the while, but one day when you call it a day, you leave everything behind, you
Mm,
know and even your money, your whatever, you leave some. And the following, during the funeral, the people who, some of my other students who came, and they said, no, sir was very, sir was, because of sir I am who I am today. He was very strict. That's why, he I started studying. So I realized that, you it's life is beyond money. Of course, money is, you with money you can accomplish lots of things, but beyond that you have to look into, as a human being, what are you going to leave to mankind. So one of the things that I do on a day-to-day basis, my routine is to read affirmations on a day-to-day basis. I start my day with that. So after that, I just ask the God and the universe to use me as a tool to do good to mankind, to use me as a tool to empower mankind, to bring changes to mankind in whatever way. I said, I'm ready. Please use me as a tool, God. Or I ask the universe the same. So I think if it's more into what we leave behind, to the society, to the community, to mankind, in general. I think that will make a difference in for our future generations. It's an effort that we have. It's something, the thought that we have to think of. uh, and I'm sure each and every one of us, if we look around us, a lot of changes can be done. I was taking a drive yesterday and I saw someone, was a community doing recycling. So they're doing something to mankind. So we, like, I do recycling, but I drop off at the recycling point. But they were there on a Sunday. They were gathering things and everything. So they are doing something for mankind. I was looking at a video by, Harit Iskandar. He has this Hope Branch, an organization where he feeds the poor. Almost daily they feed hundreds and thousands of poor across the country. So he's doing something for the mankind. But if that's why, within our means, if each and every one of us can do something for the community, or for mankind, I think the world will be in a better place in the years to come.
Wow, this is so beautiful, Raj. In line with our theme of being human, right? The state of being itself is such an amazing thing for us to do, and you are, sharing it with so much of passion on how you want to leave this world behind. Because we're not going to take anything like what you said, and I think it's a very surreal experience when you saw that, and it went deep inside, it embedded in your subconscious mind, and that could be another shift in your life, that the way that you're looking at it is in a different perspective now. Congratulations on that, on how it is shaping you through your father's energy, spirit, that's, I'm sure it's there, blessing you all this while. One of the things that I always tell, as you know, we launched our book, Being a Supercharged Family. Family is a very powerful unit. One of the things that I share with some of the parents is this: when you're getting your kids, raising them to be wonderful people, I think the most important thing is that you have to teach them amazing values, because they can use these values to prosper in their own way. Second thing is, basically, when you die, you need to leave a good name. Now, that is very important, because someone might say, this is this person's kid, maybe we should give them an opportunity, right? The third one is very important. How do you leave a good name behind is basically you live by the values you taught your kids, which is very important, right? Because I live by that. End of the day, people will remember us, like what Robin Sharma said, right? Who dies at your funeral or something like that. So we won't be there to see who's crying, who cried in your funeral, right? So that is something that I said, which rings a bell, and I'm sure the people who are listening here, they would want to do whatever it takes, do something as little as they can, just to make a shift in whatever they can be, they can have the reach to, right? They can go and collect, like what you said, scrap metals, pick up some rubbish. Or like today, I had my coaching session with one of my clients in McDonald's, and we made sure that we cleared the table before we left. And Davey saw another person, the other side, fantastic, a guy with two small kids. They were cleaning up the table after finishing, and Davey was so excited, she was congratulating them. And the guy said, it's good, if I can leave this place clean for another person to come, it's just another blessing. If each and every one of us can just do a little bit, the world will be an amazing place. Just
Very
like
true.
what you have said, Raj. I'm super excited hearing what you have said. This is going to go out. When it comes to you, just share it with a lot of people, because people need to know this story. It's not about just how good we are doing in the financial world or the material world. It's how we actually being an amazing human being, and we are adding value in this society. Law of precession. Jivan speaks about this in Buckminster Fuller and all that, right? Rather than following the precession, we need to do that add value action that we need to keep doing, so that the precessionary effect is just amazing. So, Raj, now what would be your advice to the listeners? What would you like to tell them? In a nutshell, what would your personal advice be in carrying out a wonderful life towards whatever they would like to achieve? What would be your advice?
Live life to the fullest. Uh, it is you design your own life. Okay, you're an architect of your own life, so don't underestimate your capacity, your capability. What you think, okay, if you work on it, it will materialize. It's just a matter of putting it into a paper, brainstorming about it, and then putting in effort. Of course, effort is needed. And whatever that you want to achieve in your life, you can achieve. Always dream big. Okay, visualize things to happen, and it will happen. Do good. Reach out to as many people as you can. The more you give, the more you shall receive. Okay, if you start giving out a lot of food, you will never run out of food at home, right? If you educate others, definitely your knowledge will be there. Some or rather you will be knowledgeable at all times. If you give out in terms of monetary, you help a lot of people out there. Okay, uh, you will never run out of money. Always believe in this. So the more you give, the more you shall receive. So reach out to people, as many people out there as you can. Work on your dreams. And I read this book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. And in the book, he says that whatever that you think, if you think it, over and over again, you put it in your subconscious mind, it will happen. It's just a matter of time. Given, so be positive all times. Uh, there is nothing you can do by being negative. It's going to worsen the situation. So, and negative things tend to happen. Each and every one of us, we face setbacks, including me from time to time. I do have my challenges. I live with challenges on a day-to-day basis, like what you said earlier. Even climbing up a staircase is a challenge for me. Okay, imagine climbing up a staircase with a leg straight. So, but I do that. Okay, I walk, I travel around the world. I we don't to give any excuses. Make best use of the situation that you have currently, and live life to the fullest. Be happy, be positive, and live a good life, and leave something behind for the society.
That's super amazing, super advice that everybody needs to do, Raj. I like what you said, living with challenge, right? this predicament that you had when you were young, that accident, has now given you a reminder, a positive reminder of every day that you're having a challenge, and it allows you to live every day. The challenge in the society nowadays is basically they are so normal that they are so numb of their life that they don't even feel life. And that is what you are enjoying. I tell
Yes.
you,
Mhm.
I mean, we don't wish for people to happen, but the thing is that you are living every step of your life, which is so powerful. And I'm super proud of what you're doing, with our small little society, with what we're doing with the Reset app and all that. We help two individuals from having the idea of committing suicide. They walked away, they're living a good life just by using the Reset app and being part of the community. These are small little things that we can do. It's free app, people can use it. And nothing like giving it out to the people out there. I'm super proud to be in your space today. Very excited to have had this amazing conversation with you. Hope it reaches out to as many people. We'll share it with you, Raj. You do what you need to do to pass it around. Hope it touches more life. Guys, do remember to download the Reset app. It's down. We'll leave it at the link here. And also subscribe to Reset Being Human, which is the channel that we are having. It's fun. Some of the things that we talk about, a lot of, not all the things that we talk about is about positive mental health. It's about tenacity and all that stuff. Raj, finally, I would like to thank you. And before we part ways, how can people reach you?
My social media page is Raj the Influencer, from both my Facebook and also my Instagram, TikTok, and so on. Uh, they can call me at 01223930001. If anyone wants to have a teh tarik with me, I'll be more than happy. And thank you, Siva, for the opportunity of having me on board. And I would like to congratulate the LOA Center for doing for empowering, I think, thousands of lives, for the past 10 years that I've known you all. Many success stories that I've heard. You have turned around many people's mindset. People are in a much better situation now in terms of their health, in terms of their business, in terms of their career, thanks to the LOA Center and the good things that you are doing. And thank you for the opportunity of having me here.
Raj, it's my pleasure to have you here, an honor. You see, this is something not everybody goes through. The experience, and you're experiencing it well. Wish you all the success, all the best in touching lives and having a wonderful life with your loved ones. And the most important thing is that about the current pandemic, just stay safe, keep your resilience up. That's the only thing that is keeping us going. And not to forget, we need to live our life, not just be in fear. Thank you very much, Raj. Wish you a
Thank you,
fantastic
Shiva.
life. Take care of yourself.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.
And all of Raj's link will be putting it down. Please go and check out Raj, the influencer. He will really influence you. How he has influenced many people, including me, has given a lot of hope. Thank you very much, Raj. Have a great day.
Thank you, Shiva. Bye bye.